Ho ho ho! Captain Wing here, and Merry Christmas to everybody. And I probably shouldn't ever do that intro again. Honestly, ever, for the rest of my life. But, you know, the chances are I probably will. So, yes, it is December. Merry Christmas to you guys. If you don't celebrate it, then I suppose just enjoy the winter weather, if you like winter. Or just enjoy some time to yourself. But as you can see here, we are playing Archero once again. It's been a while. I say it's been a while since I did a video because I did it for Quickplay. However, I had someone. I ended up talking to someone about this game. Someone commented on my video, and we had a little chat. And I've been thinking lately that I wanted to do some more of this. Because I've actually made a lot of progress since last we played. So, when it comes to these areas, I was here last time. Not anymore, I'm not. Now I am on the 7th level, which is the Barons of Shadow, which is a very difficult one. And I've also got Hero Mode unlocked, which is harder versions of those. So what I'm actually going to do is I want to start an Archero series, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through everything on a secondary account, I think. Can I do that? Maybe I can't do that. Okay, maybe not. Okay, what instead I'm going to do is oh, there's an all-new hero. Might have to get her later. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and play through every single one of the stages and try and give advice as we go on how to finish it, on what sort of abilities to have, things like that. And today we are going to start off with the most basic, the Verdant Prairie. A fertile grassland that is a good place for hunting. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my equipment set. I am going to be using this equipment set to make it easier for me, but that does not mean you cannot do it without. I'm likely going to be very advanced at this, in this state. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to unequip my weapon for now. And do I have to have a weapon equipped? Okay, in that case, I'm going to equip the heavy scythe thing. Well, we'll equip the death scythe then. It's disappeared. Okay, everything else I'm going to keep the same because I just will. So we're going to play Verdant Prairie. Let's go today. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, then please hit that like button and feel free to subscribe for more awesome content. And let's get started. So, as a starting point for anything, if you get the option to have either front arrows or multi-shot, take it. And, wow. Maybe this is too easy. Very well! Let's go home! We're going to go home and we are going to remove all of our equipment. So, unequip, 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 unequip. In fact, I'm going to... I don't have a bow, do I? Right, so we're going to be doing this naked. That'll be something. I'm even going to change my hero to the original hero. And we're simply going to play with Atreus, a rookie archer. So we are very basic and we are not likely to do very well. But we're going to see how this is. So, yeah, in this case, I don't have either of any front arrows or multi-shot. You won't always. So next thing I would probably go for is probably Poison Touch. I don't find Holy Touch or Piercing Shot to be very good abilities in general. I don't generally tend to find they work all that well. Now, wow, it's been a while since I played this. Or do I just throw like darts? I mean, you're powerful to start with, but you're against basic enemies. So these guys, they just shoot out one small projectile. You can dodge it quite easily by moving around. And these guys will just run around, keep your distance, and you should be fine with these guys. The only problem is hitting them because they can be quite fast. So next, from what I see, I would here Death Nova is good for surround. It's for when you know you're going up against large groups of enemies. Now I don't think that really happens in the first level. So I would not personally. Bouncy wall is better when you've got more firepower, so things like diagonal arrows, sideway arrows. So in this kind of case, I would go for an attack boost. I would try to, more often than not, go for the either attack or attack speed boosts, because I find those to be quite good. They boost up your base attack. Now these guys can be annoying, because, I mean, if you have poison like me, you can peek out and shoot them, and then let the poison do the damage. But what they do is, you'll notice they fire out 3 shots. So, let me just mention the blessing from the angels. Unless you're on a critically low amount of health, I would generally go for the gimmick. For example, critical master here, because that once again boosts your abilities. Now I get the chance to talk about these guys. You'll see they fire out 3 shots. They can be quite hard to. They can be difficult to dodge if you're fighting more than one end of these guys. But otherwise, just move around to avoid them. They can deal a fair bit of damage. These guys jump, and I think poison lasts forever, actually. This is quite good. They jump around, and when they land, they'll launch out 4 projectiles, 1 in each of the 4 directions, up, down, left, and right, as such. You can dodge them fairly easily, and they are very predictive enemies, so they shouldn't give you any issues, really. The only thing is, you just need to watch out for where they jump, because if they land on you, it will hurt. Now here, front arrows, because front arrows and multi-shot are the top priorities ever. The thing about this game is that it's quite random, in that the abilities and things you get will be completely random from quite a large pool. So you never know what you're going to get. Now, avoid spikes, obviously they hurt, and you'll notice that on every 10 levels there'll be a boss stage, and on every level before the boss stage, there will be a chest at the end of the arena. And you can collect that chest to give you some XP, and also to give you some health, little health hearts. So this boss is quite, well, I mean, they're all quite easy. You just have to get the hang of the patterns. They can get stuck on walls, as you saw, but they just run around. If they hit you, it will hurt, but they will just kind of bounce off all of the walls. And when you kill them, they'll spawn smaller versions of themselves. It starts with just 1, and they split into 2. Then each of those 2 will split into 2 small ones, like I just targeted. Which means you have to fight 1 big one, 2 medium ones, and I think it's 4 2 medium ones and 8 small ones, because they each release small ones. This one just takes time, patience, and making sure that you're not crowded by a lot of enemies at once. If you have poison like me, you could just wear them down once you've got a shot into them. So if you've got something like poison or fire being, I would consider it a bit less effective, but... so a new ability, multi-shot, so you want that next. The lucky wheel you don't have any control over, and you will either randomly get the lucky wheel or the devil after every single boss fight. Usually it will just be experience, which won't do you an awful lot, but occasionally you'll get a little ability, which is nice. Now these guys, they show you where they're going to shoot. So all you have to do is make sure you're out of their line of fire, and you will be alright. These are not very difficult to dodge, because there's a considerable amount of time between them locking onto you and actually firing, but they will deal a bit of damage if they hit you. So far, so good. So you see there's plenty of time to move. So we're doing alright so far. And this is me, I'm playing this without any kind of augments on, any kind of boosts to myself. My character is very basic, there's no equipment at all. As we play through the stages, I will actually start putting equipment on, because it will become very difficult without. But in the initial, you will not have anything. And in fact, it can be quite hard getting started. I think when I did my quick play video, I was on the 2nd stage, and I remained on the 2nd stage for a long time. Now, you've got choices here. These are all very good abilities. Now, each to their own, really. HP boost boosts your maximum health and gives you some health. Headshot means you've got a small chance to kill little enemies immediately, and Rage means you deal more damage as you get down to low health. Now, if you think you're going to die, if you think you're going to take a lot more damage, you can either have a HP boost or Rage, but if you think you're going to be alright and you're a more experienced player, I would go Headshot. because you can then insta-kill some of the mobs, and if you're planning to stay on high health, it shouldn't be a problem. And of course, the Angel can give you a HP boost, which is... Oh, I say I haven't got any augments on. I have. I will show you the special gimmicks at the end of this run, but that's not something I can do anything about. They'll be on all the time. I mean, it's unlikely you'll clear this stage on your first try anyway. So you see here, this is the first level where there's large-scale combat with multiple enemy types that can prove troublesome. These ghosts, these throw bombs. Those bombs hurt quite a lot and can travel over large distances and obstacles. They will hurt. Avoid them at all costs. I think I got hit by one of those that time, and it did me quite a lot of damage. Ow, 200 damage is quite a lot for a starting player. Just try and stay on the move generally. It's difficult because you have to combo moving around with staying put to fire, but in this case I'm going to go attack speed boost because I think that's the most useful of the three. Everything comes down to personal preference. As you play more, you'll sort of learn what all of the different abilities do, which ones go well together, which ones to use if you're trying to go for a good strategy. And that's all the sort of things I will try and explain as we play, and maybe on some runs I'll try to get a strategy of some kind. But it just depends on what you're dealt, really. This guy's not too bad. You just have to... He's harder than the last one, but you just have to basically dodge his fireballs. They bounce off of surfaces, they don't do anything else, so as long as you can dodge them, as long as you can dodge reasonably well, you should be alright. Now, the first 4 bosses in this stage can appear in a random order. The 5th one is set, but the first 4 will be random, so you could get them in any order. I think on my first ever run, I got that one first, which is a bit harder for you. And of course, you'll notice that every 10 leaves, the arena seems to change a bit, and the enemies will change with it. So you'll notice they're getting a lot more health, they're dealing more damage to me, and these guys are like the trees we saw earlier, except they launch out 8 shots. Now, I'm going to go with the critical master here to increase the critical chance, but... They fire off a shot in 8 directions, in up, down, left, and right, and then the 4 diagonals. So we've got some more bomb guys, and you will have noticed as well. I didn't mention them, but there were bats that fly towards you. They don't do a lot. They fly a certain distance towards you, and then they just stop there. They're not really a threat unless you're cornered by them. These red fast ones will simply spawn 2 green ones, or blue ones, shall I say, when they die. Which means there's not really a problem, just like the small ones. I mean, they are very basic enemies after all. These little skeleton ones, they're like the ones that run around that I've just fought, the red and blue ones, except they are stronger. And they will actively pursue you, like they are doing now. The orange ones simply spawn 2 skeletons when they die. Now, usually these will be found in decent-sized groups, so you do have to be careful. These guys are a bit worse. These are like upgrades from the previous ones we've seen of these golems. They fire off 5 bullets, projectiles, and they're stronger. And this little plant thing here is like the one we saw earlier in the game, except it fires 2 shots instead of 1. And it's a little bit harder to dodge. So you see here, we're being swarmed by skeletons, and these bats could prove an issue if you don't keep moving. If you keep moving, they'll fly in a straight line, and they won't actually hit you. You just have to be careful. Keep backing up into open spaces. If you've got fire or poison or anything else that's damage over time, that'll help you. Now, I'm going to do a circle. Fire circle. Circles are quite good because you'll get orbs that rotate around you and do various things. I think you've got poison, electric, fire, and ice, I think. May have missed 1 or 2. But basically, if an enemy hits it, they will take damage, and they will get inflicted with whatever effect your ring does. So mine is fire. Fire is like poison. It deals damage over time, except it's not infinite. It only lasts a couple of seconds, but it deals a lot more damage. I tend to prefer the poison to fire, actually. I tend to find that's a better choice because I think it's overall more effective. But it's down to interpretation. Now, a lot of the bosses, well, not all of them, but a lot of them will be just boss versions of ones that you've already seen before. This guy, you've already seen these little trees before. He does exactly the same. He jumps down, except he actively jumps after you. He fires out 8 shots when he lands, but he's also got this special breath attack where he launches out a lot of small projectiles, which can be quite difficult to dodge. It just depends on where they land. And he also can spawn in little guys to help him out. So just try and focus on the big guy. If the little guys get in the way, deal with them. But try and avoid them if you can, because the quicker you can kill the boss, the quicker he'll stop spawning in little minions. Now, if you're low on health, there is always Lucky Wheel is always set to some extent. There's always a heal spell, and there is always 3 XP boost counters. And there's 2 random abilities as well that are pulled from the ability pool. Now, these are new versions of the archers. These ones have arrows that can bounce. But fortunately, you will also see where the arrow is going to bounce to, which means that these are not very difficult to fight, but their ricochet can make them a bit more difficult, especially when you're being attacked by melee enemies, such as these skeletons here. Now I'm being backed into a corner, so I'm actually going to run across the spikes, which I wouldn't do if you can help it, but I had no choice here. And the frame rate has absolutely plummeted. Wow, I've never seen the likes of this. It's back up now. This game can lag quite a lot with more enemies. So again, if you're an experienced player, in this case I would go for the smart, because it will allow you to level up quicker and get those levels. It means you can get those abilities quicker. But be mindful, you do have a maximum level. Oh god, it's lagging quite a lot. I really don't understand why. But you see, it keeps showing up as well when we get a headshot, it keeps showing that up. So you know when you've insta-killed an enemy. Which is just supposed to be a small chance. Now watch out, because the bomber guys can fire over obstacles, and that little plant can fire over an obstacle too. New enemies! Blue bomb things. They're called living bombs, actually. What they will do is they will fire off 3 bombs in rapid succession. So you really have to keep moving when these are around. The same as for any bombs, really. They can be any of them can be dangerous. So we're going to move with attack boost because I've not taken much damage, which means it makes me stronger. If you've got circles of damage dealing circles, you really want to try and stay close to your enemies. Not too close that they can overpower you, but close enough that you can deal the damage to them, because you've got the ability, so you want to use it. Now, there are 50 waves in this, or arenas, in the first stage. There are 50 in the second one as well, and then it sort of changes a bit after that. But 50's a lot, and if you don't make it all the way first try, that's no problem. Every 5 levels you complete, every time you reach a new milestone for the first time, you will get a reward, and those milestones are every 5 levels here. And it'll be things like gems, coins that you can then use to buy nice upgrades. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to buy freeze. Freezing is an arrow effect that slows the enemies down. There's also things like poison you saw me get at the start. You've seen, no, I don't think you have seen. There was holy at the start as well. There is fire, there is lightning, and all of them do different things. So here's the boss again. This is another of those plants, except he works a bit differently. This, I could argue, is the hardest of the first 4 bosses to face, because he can be unpredictable. Once you figure out where his shots go, you're all right, but they do fire quickly. Just keep moving, and when he takes a break from firing, go for him then. So here, there's a small chance that instead of getting a lucky wheel, you'll get a devil. He will give you an offer where you will lose some max health, but you will get a rare and unique ability that you cannot usually get. For example, Water Walker, which I'm going to get so that I can show you. Or you can get Through the Wall, which allows you to hide inside walls. You can get things like attack boosts. The usually big attack boosts that'll help. But you can also get some things like multi-shot and front arrows. Now, usually you can only get those abilities once, and that's it. So you can only abilities once. But with the devil, you have a small chance to get one of those again. So you can either fire out 3 volleys of arrows at once, or you can fire 3 arrows at the same time. Now we're nearly here now. I think we've actually finished 40 levels. And for me, this is easy because I've already finished these in the past, and I've got quite a lot of perks on. I can't remove those, so it's only going to be so easy. But for me, that does make it a fair bit easier. But I have removed all of my equipment in order to try and make this as close as possible to the experience you will have. I'm trying to explain the enemy types as we go. For the projectile types, in general, I would just try and keep moving. Learn the pattern of where they shoot and how they shoot, and I just dodge that. For the melee types, try and keep a distance from them. And just buy upgrades that are suitable to your playing style. Everyone will have a unique playing style, and you want upgrades that suit you better. Some people will want to go for arrow upgrades and put things like fire and poison on their arrows, whereas some people will want to go for the shooting more arrows out. You want diagonal or things like that. I'm actually going to get the bolt circle because that's another of the circle effects. Lightning orbs deal splash damage to nearby enemies. For example, you can see it chaining to others. It's a crowd control weapon. Things like the skeletons that swarm you, crowd control. And as you'll see now, I've reached max level for my abilities. That increases as you play the game, and I think it's as you rank up your characters. So my threshold is higher than what your starting threshold will be. But it doesn't make that much of a difference, really. It just gives you it means you can have an extra upgrade every once in a while. So we're on stage 48 now. We are very nearly done. I really don't want to die now. Unfortunately, dying is part of the process, and sometimes it will just happen. You can, however, use gems, which they don't show up unless you actually collect them, but there are green gems you can collect. You can use those to bring yourself back to life once per attempt at the stage. You can also, some of the time, you can watch an ad to do so. Now, you'll notice this is the final boss for the level. He can be quite difficult, but he's fairly slow. He's a golem. He summons other ones to help him, and he spins around to attack you. Stay out of his way when he spins, and attack him when he stops. But there you guys have it. My game decided it was going to crash. But there you go. There was nothing to miss. At the end of your run, you'll get experience, and you'll get some rewards. Later on, you'll start to get weapons and items and armour and things. But for the most part, you'll just get XP to level up your character, and some coins to spend on cool things. Now, originally, the only thing you'll really have is a talent tree. Now, this will start, all of these will start locked, and you every time you upgrade the tree, it becomes more expensive to upgrade. So for me, it costs a lot now. But as you level these up, you'll get better. You've got things like enhancing your equipment, which boosts the stats of your equipment. You've got extra power, extra health. You've got extra skill selection, which is at the start. It means at the start you get one skill selection, which you saw from me. And later on you'll get weapons and armour and things that you can put on. You'll get extra heroes, and you'll be able to level up your heroes. You can also fuse items together, like so. You combine 3 identical items, and it will level them all up to a better item. And you can do this several times to get really good items like the purple ones. But that's going to be all from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you all a Merry Christmas, and I will see you guys in another video.